I have Agatha Nagalia, who is a teacher at Alliance Girls High School. Agatha, thank you so much for making time this morning to speak to KTN News. First of all, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And I would just love to hear your thoughts on the new announcement that there could be a possibility, because that's the latest that we have, there could be a possibility of a postponement of the new 2633 curriculum that everyone has been keeping an eye on. For some, this is a breather. Your thoughts?
I would say it is a breather, yes, but to some people, especially those who've been working hard for it, it's going to give us some little confusion here and there, okay, because there are those who have invested in their time, okay, preparing the materials for the new curriculum, and that is really going to mean that many things will change.
Right.
Yes.
From a teacher's perspective, I would love to hear your thoughts. A lot of, Matiang'i has faced a lot of criticism, both good and positive. On the positive side, he has tamed cartels.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Everyone has applauded him for that.
Yes.
The issue of exams being marked quite quick and then results being released earlier, hence parents get to plan ahead, financially speaking. Even from a student's perspective, I get to know, all right, these are the grades I got, this is where I'm going. But also on the other side, the counter of that is that the whole marking was done too quickly, others say, hence why we're seeing politicians calling for an audit of the exams results. As a teacher, and of that of Alliance Girls High School, a very prominent one that has done very well in this last KCSE and previous years. Yes. How would you rate Matiang'i?
I'd rate him A.
An A?
Yes, I'd rate him A. And why is, for us, he controlled the cartels, of course, the cheating.
Yes.
So every student is getting what they deserve. And I'll just say that what people forget is that results don't happen the last year. You start making results right from when the students join Form 1. And so as it is, what people need to realize is that when this was stopped, the cheating was stopped, then students got into panic mode. Remember a few years back, there were schools burning and all that because they were yet to adjust. So with time, I think we're going to see the benefit of this, okay? And we are glad that the cartels are out. And the other thing that people forget is, you know, if you consider last year's candidates, they did their exam under difficult conditions. One thing people forget is that we had the elections coming.
That's true.
Yes.
The calendar.
Yes, and that's something people have not talked about. Clearly, it must have affected those children.
You've given him an A. Could he improve on a few things that you'd want him to see? For example, others, speaking to some of the teachers and people behind the scenes, moderation, maybe marking. Others say the marking was done too quickly. You're finding teachers marking for hours. Could he do a few things to improve and to make that A an A star?
Yes, it is. It is possible, actually, to improve on that. Okay, I mean, you're looking at a human being. True. You're working from 7 to 10 p.m. That is really draining. And you cannot really compare a script that may have been marked at 7 o'clock and the one that may have been marked when the teacher is overly tired. So either one will be disadvantaged, the one who's marked early in the morning or the one who's marked late. So clearly that is also a matter of capacity. It's are the conditions lucrative enough to entice teachers, because there are those examiners who go there, but the conditions are not very good for them. So, you know, you'd rather stay out. People do this. Most of those who go there because they want to improve their teaching, okay? But if you look at the conditions that are there, then they would, if they had more examiners, attracting more examiners, then it would be easy. They would not have the stress.
Right.
Yes.
Do you think that the teachers are well prepared for this new system that is coming out, the 2633? Do you feel within your circles and speaking to other people within your area of work, how are they feeling? Are they feeling confident within their preparation? Because we can have the 2633 system today, the 844 tomorrow, we can borrow the IGCSE curriculum, but if our teachers are not ready, despite whatever system we bring into play, our students will not win. Do you feel as if teachers rather, are well prepared for this new system?
I'll say yes and no. Any teacher worth their salt is trained to interpret a curriculum design. And on my side, I believe as a teacher, given any curriculum design, I should be able to interpret it. Because at the end of the day, the material, the curriculum materials are being prepared by the same teachers.
Right.
Yeah, so in your training, you go through a process where you should be able to interpret and know your business is to deliver the curriculum, the content in it. So it is a matter of the teachers taking interest, because people fear change, people don't like change. But in this particular case, you don't need to train too many. Okay, so I believe that the numbers that have been trained should actually get to the ground and train those who have not been exposed. But it's just because many of them have been used to different methods of teaching. The content is not changing much as it is, because 1 + 1 will always be 1 wherever you go, in whatever curriculum, okay? But the thing is, let the teachers just be open to change, because that is one thing that we have to do to win. Because at the end of the day, we are complaining about the graduates we are getting, okay? But we are complaining it's because of the methods that we use to teach them, okay? Where you spoon feed, there's a lot of rote learning, but this is a curriculum that is really going to be very, I'll say, interactive, because it is going to involve the parents a lot.
Right.
Parents also need to get involved, because there are times they'll be expected to do work with the kids at home and even go and serve the community. So really, upbeat about it.
Agatha, if there's one thing that has also stepped out a lot in this specific new curriculum that we're expecting to roll out, hopefully if the postponement doesn't happen, is the printing of the books, the costs that it takes to print the books. The government came out and said we've cut the cost to about by 13.5 billion Kenyan shillings.
Yes.
On the side of the printers, or rather publishing companies, I know they've asked for more time, about 2 more weeks to add on matters printing the books. But what were your thoughts on that aspect of publishers?
On the publishers, as note is, what I think makes printing of books expensive is taxation. Yes, but if publishers are assured that books will not be taxed, then the prices will come down, okay? And I think that is something that needs to be negotiated between the government and the publishers, I believe. And if the government is also sourcing directly from the publishers, it makes it cheap, because then you'll not have the bookseller in between, or the middlemen who come in between, isn't it? And that's where the costs go high, because if a publisher sells directly to government, and the government ensures that the books get to the school, then it is going to be cheaper for both of us. It's win-win.
And we've already seen about 4 million textbooks being ordered just for secondary alone, Form 1 secondary alone. This is a breather also from the parent side, one of the biggest stakeholders that we have in this entire, within the education system. Quite a breather for parents.
Yes.
Would you say?
Yes, I would say it is good for parents, because there are parents, of course, who cannot afford. But this gives the parents and the students a level ground, that you can be in whatever school, wherever you are, and you still have access to good quality material, because this will cut out, we call them the cartels, or the pirates, who go and print substandard books, books that are not approved, low quality books. And I mean, the student at the end of the day is the one who suffers, because many are ignorant. They don't know. I only need to change a cover, and the content inside is different. And of course, that goes to the students, and it's really unfair to the student. But to the parent, it is going to be a plus. And given that at least they're getting the core subjects, and those are the core subjects that count when they're grading the students at the end of their exam.
All right.
Yes.
Agatha, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. 25 billion Kenyan shillings have been set aside for the free secondary education.
Yes.
We've also seen President Uhuru Kenyatta coming out to say that now students will get NHIF cover. What are your thoughts on the... So there are few places that the government is really winning our hearts in terms of education, and there's truly no government that is perfect. Nat and Kupet have both come out to say if they are not involved in talks, especially with this one that is coming with the postponement, they want to sit at the table and have their voices heard. That if that does not happen, they foresee another strike happening. What are your thoughts on this?
I do not see strikes. I wouldn't want to talk about that,
Yeah.
okay? But what I see is there are things that people need to agree,
Right.
okay? We need to agree, probably have discussions together. One that I know Nat is agitating is about the massive transfer, okay?
Yeah, I was about to come to that.
Yes, about the massive transfers. And, well, at the end of the day, the teachers have a code of regulations with the employer, who is the TSC. And when you look at some of this, it's a one-on-one. It's about individual choice. Because every teacher, as they are employed, you are actually given the terms and conditions of your employment, okay? And basically, it's that you can serve in any part of this country. A transfer can be initiated by either the TSC or you can do it, okay? So in this, it's going to be a matter of personal choices. And what I know is many of those principles have actually started moving and some have handed over.
True.
Yes.
Yes. Actually, that's actually one of the top stories within our local dailies. The fact that some of the principals and the deputies have also started moving, but they weren't too happy about the news the first time.
Yes.
I mean, how would you feel, because you're a teacher with Alliance Girls, if you were to be transferred tomorrow, and I like what you said,
yes,
it's a personal decision as well.
Yes.
You can call for it yourself,
yes,
or your boss.
Yes.
So where do you feel when it comes to a few teachers? Would you call it being selfish, quote to quote, if a principal is told, go to this school, but you don't feel like moving? At the end of the day, you're serving the students, you're serving the education system at
Yes.
large within the nation.
Yes. I feel for some of the principals, and like I say, it's a personal choice because you can negotiate,
right?
Okay? You can always negotiate because by the time, if you look at the principals that are affected, many of them are principals of national schools, and clearly by the time you rise to that level, you've been in that station for several years. That is the case for most of them. And in this case, what happens is people tend to invest where they live. Okay, so there's your family, your children, who probably are going to local schools around where you're living. So if, say, you're transferred to a place, you're coming from Western, you're coming to Central, it means that you have to reorganize your family and all that. And that, of course, takes a bit of time. So I believe there'll be negotiations between them.
So normally it's the logistic part that really threatens the whole movement. Because like you said, if I have a family,
yes,
my kids are going to school.
Yes.
I have to talk to my husband or wife about it.
Yes.
So
is he willing to transfer? Is he
yes.
willing to follow me?
Yes.
You've probably invested, you've put up a home, and then suddenly you have to go and find another place to live.
True.
Yes.
So then the government should make places or other avenues that make it comfortable. If you're going to move, will also move your students. I mean, your children
family
as well. These are the systems that the government should put in place in order to ease
yes.
Transferring of teachers and principals.
Yes, but there is an allowance. They give an allowance for movement. But other than that, clearly as an individual, it's not an easy thing.
It's not.
Yes, it's not an easy thing. Of course, clearly the TSC also states that principals are supposed to live within the school compounds, okay? Within the schools where they head. Of course, those are always taken care of. Many of those schools have those kind of provisions, okay? But it's just that change.
That change.
Yes,
it's the change of environment.
Change of environment, yes.
All right.
Yes.
Agatha, today is January 2nd.
Yes.
Schools are reopening.
Yes.
Is it too early, too soon? Because a lot of people are saying 2nd January, wow.
Too early, too soon, yes and no. Kids have been home for a long time. And you know that schools even closed early because of the elections to accommodate that. So as a teacher, I'll tell you I've missed my students. There's so much that needs to be covered.
Yes.
So I think every parent is looking up to that. And you saw how they complained the holidays are too long and all that, okay? So being second, it's just that you have not really adjusted. We just had a holiday, okay? But I think this is what parents knew. As the kids closed, you knew the first day the child came home that they'd go to school on 2nd. So clearly there should have been some planning prior to that. The good thing is the results came out early. And for us teachers, we're also looking up to that. We want to hit the road running.
True.
Yes.
All right, we want to take a quick commercial break here on Money Express, but on the other side of the conversation, we'll touch a little bit on the issue of school fees, a big relief to the pockets and wallets of very many parents across the nation. That's what we'll come back with. I have Agatha here, who is a teacher at Alliance Girls High School, so do not go anywhere. Stay with us.